And on to slide 12. So, some examples of terrorist financing activity is during 2001, bin Laden had a series of honey shops that were able to disguise weapons, drugs, and money. Since the distribution of honey was so common because of its necessity based on religion and culture, the odor and the texture of the honey served as a decoy to bypass any inspectors. It was quite easy to ship honey from the United States to places such as Saudi Arabia, who poorly perform in producing it. So it seemed natural for that to be crossing over there. It operated heavily in Yemen when Al Qaeda was dominant in the region. It was a rather unorthodox mechanism used to mass operations that ultimately funded Al Qaeda's agenda, but it worked though. The second case study per se would be the second example is of Santa Claus, not the real Santa Claus, but let's just call it the terrorist Santa Claus. The financing of recruitment for terrorist purposes report stated that the Brussels Court of Appeals had sentenced an individual nicknamed Santa Claus for his generosity in funding terrorist fighter travels and terrorist combat zones to prison for 15 years after being found guilty for being the leader of a recruitment network in Belgium. So he was given the name Santa Claus, and he funded terrorist fighters for their travels and being in the war zone. In the release of information from the case, it was determined that he recruited through his network 60 individuals from Belgium to travel to Syria between the years of 2012 and 2014. And it fitted to be high-profile recruiter. He was a high-profile recruiter as well. So kudos, he was locked up. Unfortunately, this man was behind the recruitment of the same individuals who carried out the Paris and Brussels attacks. So that means that if we would have caught him earlier on, perhaps those attacks wouldn't have happened. This man recruited young recruits to carry out criminal acts such as robberies to generate funds by using the Quran to inspire these crimes, though he's using religion. Those same illegal criminal acts generated funds and were used to pay for the traveling expenses of the terrorists traveling to Syria to carry out more terrorist acts. Now, the last one that I chose was the application of Venmo. Venmo is an application, it's very popular, it's used on your phone. There was a trigger word that popped up in the news in 2016, IDEC. It's spelled I-D-E-K. It's an acronym for I don't even know in America, but this application only allowed users to transfer funds within the United States, and it still currently only does that. Though in 2016, that slang term, I don't even know, it alerted Venmo's compliance team, and it froze all transactions using that term until they did the whole 96-hour investigation, and it conducted it making sure that it had no relation to terrorist financial transactions. And the reason behind this alert was due to that IDEC is actually an acronym for Islami Dawa'i Kafala, which is the radical Islamic organization in Bangladesh. So, like I said, we're doing our part.